Hey everyone, Matt here on another edition of Ask Ron. Ron, how's your day going so far?
Oh, it's good. I just got back from yesterday, spending a day with Marshall Silver out in Las Vegas. Took me 14 hours to get back from
Oh,
Vegas. 14 hours. It's because I went commercial.
oh man.
Now I understand why I got a plane, and I'll be using it. Trust me.
Yeah, it's not fun, I can imagine. All right, we have a few questions here today, so let's go ahead and jump right on into it.
All right.
The first one we have is from Mario up in the British Columbia.
Hey, Mario.
Mario's first of three questions is, hi Ron, how often should I follow up with sellers who want to think about my offer?
Well, Mario, first of all, when I hear that, I don't accept that. When I let them off the phone, I'm either convinced they're not going to do anything or convinced that they are. That sounds like just a way for them to get rid of you off the telephone. I would have responded with, Willie, are you thinking about whether you want to sell the house or not? Let them answer, because they're going to say, well, no, I want to sell the house. Well, then are you telling me that you can't sell the house unless you get all cash? Well, I'm not telling you that. Then, well, honestly, if you and I just agree on the numbers, there's not a whole lot to think about. So, should I follow up with you, or can you tell me now whether you want to sell the house on the terms we just discussed or not? And pin them down, and don't let them jerk you around like that. That's a common mistake people make on the telephone. They let the other side jerk them around, and that's all it amounts to. Okay, that's because that's really what it is, trying to get you off the telephone. So you do your best to get an answer while you're on the phone, and just lay it on the line. Listen, you either want to sell or you don't, so I just need to know. And if you want me to follow up, I'll be happy to do it, but only if I can get the feeling that you're actually interested in selling, and we can work it out. But then if that's the case, you tell them, you ask them when you should follow up. When do you want me to return? When can I expect you to call me back and tell me whether you're in or out, or with questions, and let them make you the offer. Remember, you don't make the offer, they do. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't hit them with emails. If you're in my dream system, you set it up, I'd hit those folks with with emails at least once a week if you've had that kind of conversation. Normally it's about once a month if you get a no, but in that situation, about once a week.
All right. Mario's next question is, hi Ron, what's your best strategy when competing with other investors? For example, the seller verbally accepts your offer, but decides to go with another investor after you send a contract.
After you sign a contract?
Send a contract.
Say it again.
After you send a contract, not
a contract. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, there's nothing you can do but get on the phone and find out what made you make that decision. I thought you and I had an agreement. Is there something we can discuss right now so that I can follow through with our agreement? Because we did have an agreement, did we not? Yes. Well, I'm here to buy your house, and I'm serious, and I'm ready to go. So tell me, what do I have to do to make that happen? Let them tell you again. Let them make you the offer. It makes a great case why you got to get moving. You got to really move fast. When you got to get a hold of them quickly, and you got to get the contract in their hands quickly, and try to get it signed quickly. So, you might even, guys, you might even think about subscribing to. I can't think of where I send the contract and let them sign it right up. What am I thinking about? You tell me.
Is it like DocuSign?
DocuSign, that's what I'm thinking.
There it is. All right.
You might even think about getting DocuSign. You can send it to them and actually get them to sign it right on that and send it back, and they don't have to print it out and all of that. It's probably worth the small amount of money it takes to send it. I'm happy with DocuSign contracts.
Yeah, that's fast.
You set the contract up once, load it once, and then you just send it as you need it.
Yeah, especially in a situation like this, there's no time to waste.
Yeah.
All right. Mario's last question is, hi, Ron. Someone sent me a lead that's about to be auctioned in 7 days due to mortgage and back taxes. The owner is deceased and I can't find any relative. The house is in good condition. It is in Georgia. Is there anything that I can do?
Nope, nothing but be at the auction. Yeah, you said mortgage and taxes. It's not both. It's one or the other. If it's a tax deed sale, then there will be a lot of people at the auction. If it's a mortgage sale, I don't know the rules in Georgia. There still might be, but that's all you can do. You got to be at the auction, because I don't even think a private investigator would have time to, you might, what's probably worth a call, have a private investigator to find out if there's any area. Well, the truth is, if the parents have died, the kids can't sign the deed anyway, unless it's gone through probate, and it does not sound like it has. So I don't, if the person on the deed is dead, you can't buy the house between now and the auction, assuming it has not gone through probate. So there's nothing you can do but go to the auction.
Got it. All right. That takes care of Mario's questions. The next question we have is from C in New York. C says, you write, take care of today's needs before worrying about building an empire. To start off, I will look for pretty houses I'd keep. All other houses I can do axe deals on or wholesales deal if they meet the criteria. Is this a good goal?
Yeah. Usually if I buy for cash, I sell for cash, because I want to recoup that cash. I am not going to go to any bank and refinance it to get the cash back. I can borrow private money and stretch it out for a period of years for sure, but even then it's going to be at a higher rate than any loan you take over from a seller or give to a seller. It's free and clear. But yeah, that's a good strategy. Obviously, if you need money badly, you don't care about the well, later you care about the now, and I don't blame you. I do too, and I suggest take care of that money need now. So you sell everything until you can get the money. But don't forget, when I put a lease option tenant buyer in a house, depending on the price of the house, but I'm getting a great big old front end check without killing the golden goose. Okay. That check quite often can be as big as somebody rehabbing a house and taking 6 months and dealing with all of that to get to that check. Wholesaling, that's very quick. I will not deny wholesaling is extremely quick. So if you can get a really nice big check wholesaling it, and you need money really bad, I don't have any problem with you doing that. The time will come when you don't have to have the money, then you can make the decision. But again, let's say I wholesale a house. I say I can get 20 grand for it. I can probably get 20 grand or more, but put the lease option tenant buyer in there and not kill the golden goose. I mean, this is a decision you're going to have to make, which we all did and we all do.
Mm-hmm. That's right. All right. The next two questions we have are from Brad up in Oklahoma. Brad says, which one of your programs or products do you recommend and why? I've got some Gold Club points added up and I'm looking to purchase one.
Well, that's not a question you should be asking yourself, because I'm a transaction engineer. I teach people how to buy and sell houses without using their money or credit. And that includes ugly houses and pretty houses. It's not which one of my programs. It's the program that trains you how to get into the business. Can't find ugly without finding pretty. Can't find pretty without finding ugly. So if you don't get trained in the whole business, then you're just going to wind up passing over a lot of opportunity, which is exactly what most people do. All wholesalers are losing more than they're making by passing up the opportunities to be the bank instead of just flipping it and get a check. All rehabbers are doing the same thing. They're after the check, but for an exchange, they get short-term capital gains, very, very high taxes, no future benefits of the property whatsoever. But there are some times when you're going to want to get out quickly and get a check. Sometimes you're going to want to hold it, and you got terms, you're going to put the tenant buyer in it and get the long-term benefits of real estate. If you ask me which one of my courses you should buy, the answer is the Quick Start Real Estate School, where I teach all of this, which is a 4-day event designed to do just exactly that, and to do it without sucking up your time and your life, and on a very small budget. And honestly, what you learn in that event has launched a lot of careers. I mean, I don't get a chance too often to get in a group of people that all started in this exact event years ago, and now all of them are multi-millionaires running big businesses. I just sat in that group yesterday, because we came together at Marshall Silver's house in Las Vegas. And it's really rewarding to see they start here and now look at them, holy moly. I mean, like one guy there has over 5,000 doors or 5,000 units. I mean, I remember when he started, I mean, I didn't give him much hope, but here he is, here it is today. So you got to start somewhere. And when people try to make the decision that they're going to get educated for free, that is a really dumb decision. There is no such thing as a free education. There are people who will train you that are qualified to train you. And then there's a mountain of videos on YouTube that give you a little piece here and a little and conflicting information, and will really screw you up. We try to learn how to do the business on YouTube, you won't know which direction to go. So it comes down to focused training. And I've been doing that for a long time on a system that's been working for a long time all over North America and other countries that I don't even know where they're doing it. So make up your mind that you're going to have to pay for an education. And then with that comes the implementation. That education is within that 4-day event, and the implementation will start before you even arrive. And I've never seen a business like this one where I can spend such a small amount of money on operating expenses. I mean, a really small amount of money, and make such huge checks. When I had a restaurant, there's no way I could sell a steak and make 25 grand on it. And the operating expenses just put me out of business. I didn't want to do it anymore because the operating expenses were almost as much as the income, and it didn't make any sense. It's a crappy business. Work your butt off, huge investment, huge risk, huge amount of money has to go into it. And of course, when you're in the negative, you have to write a check, and you don't have a chance to get the high transaction value. This business is worth you taking the time and spending the money to learn how to do it right. Because if you don't, there's a good chance you're not going to make it, and you're going to be off onto the next shiny object before you know it. And you're going to have to find the same issues. I actually got to get trained in this business because if I don't, I'm going to make a mess. And unfortunately, that's exactly what most people do. I mean, there's no way to measure how many people try to come into the real estate business and try to save the cost of training, and they wind up doing nothing. And years go by sometimes, and they still do nothing. It starts with the proper training, but then it comes with that implementation, and that's what global publishing is so good at. We have the implementation already there, so you can plug and play. But there is no free lunch and there is no free training. I can't tell you how much my training costs. I can guarantee you hundreds of times more than yours will cost if you make a decision to get it.
Yeah, that is for sure. You got to have the right training. All right. Brad has one more question. And he says, I am a new investor and I'm targeting foreclosures as my niche in my marketing. I've heard Jay Connor say he'll try to help keep people in their home if he can. And if not, he'll purchase their home. If you work with foreclosures like Jay, how much help do you offer to the homeowner on foreclosures if you can help them?
Well, I think you probably misunderstood what Jay said. Jay does not keep people in their houses, and neither will you, and neither do I. If we buy their house, we might help them. In fact, don't even ever say the words, I'm going to save your credit. They're already shot. The credit's already shot. There's nothing you can do to save it. Don't ever tell anybody that. You don't have that power anyway. But we don't keep them in the home. I think he misunderstood what Jay said. There's no way you want to buy a foreclosure and leave that person in the home. Think about it. You got to bail them out of foreclosure, got to write a big check to do that. How are you going to get the money back? How are you going to get it back? And if they're already not making payments, what you think makes you think that they're going to make payments? So I don't leave them in the home. They got to go if they're not already gone. So I think if you ask Jay Connor, he'll tell you the exact same thing. I know Jay very, very well. And trust me, he does not leave the people in the home. Now, Jay sometimes buys on terms and puts lease option tenant buyers in homes, but not the ones he just bailed out of foreclosure. He buys them and rehabs them and cashes out of them. I know, I've been there. I've been through some of his houses. We filmed it as part of my Quick Start Real Estate School.
That's right. All right, Ron, we're coming down to the final question for this week. And this one's from Gary in Utah. Gary says, with the massive price increase in real estate recently, we have seen some properties in my area up by so much as a few $100,000. I am buying in at this inflated price with terms. When the price resets and I have a buyer, a lease option, drop out and I resell the property at a lower price,
Mhm.
how do I overcome this large decline to property value if the new buyer ends up actually buying the property?
All right. I'm not sure I understand that question. I think he said he's worried about the price going down
Mm-hmm.
and the buyer, and he's worried about the buyer. All right, let's start from scratch, Gary. First of all, you are correct. The prices are going up. They went up 25% here last year in Jacksonville in 1 year. 1 year. You can look back to 10-year periods where the prices didn't go up 25%. I mean, I've been through this at 40 years now. Okay. So you're in a very unique time right now, and smart people will take advantage of it. If I were you, I'd buy the property and quit worrying about what's going to happen in the future because we can't predict it. I'm like you, there's no way it's not going to change, and there's no way the values are not going to come down. I don't know when, because we have such a huge housing shortage. Okay, don't compare it to '08. We don't have the conditions we had in '08. All right, we have a totally different environment right now, but the prices are going up so fast. It's clear to me that the prices are rising to the point to where a lot of people cannot afford them. And here the interest rates are going up right behind that. It's got to slow down the housing market. I don't care what anybody says. So now you're asking yourself, well, what happens if I buy it here and then year after next or so, it comes down to here? All right, well, you've put a tenant buyer in it at a higher price. You've gotten a big deposit from that tenant buyer. Now, let's say it comes down and that tenant buyer actually wants to buy. Well, first of all, that's the tenant buyer's problem, not your problem, because they're not gonna buy if the house won't appraise for what they got to come up with. So you work it out with a tenant buyer if they want you to, and leave them in there until the price goes back up again, and let them pay rent. By the way, I just lost one a few days ago. I had a tenant move out to spend in my house 12 years. 12 years. I haven't done a dime's worth of work to the property in 12 years, and I haven't heard from them except to collect the rent. They pay on time, then they decide to move. Okay. You might be under the impression that people are going to buy the house just because they give you the deposit. Right? That may not be the case. Most of mine do not buy the house, regardless whether they give me a deposit or not. But I mean, that doesn't mean I don't let them live in or a longer term. So here's the key. When you bought the house, you bought it without guaranteeing debt. This is why I preach this and preach it and preach it. And I'm going to continue preaching it. Going down to the bank today and putting up that down payment and borrowing that money from the bank and guaranteeing that debt is the absolute biggest, dumbest mistake you can make, because of this reason. You don't know what's going to happen to the market. That debt is on your credit report. And when you go down, you borrow as much as you can from the bank. You have very little cash flow every month. Something goes wrong with a house, you got to come out of pocket. It's just a trap. It's an absolute trap. I call it the cash flow shuffle. Buy, refinance, buy, refinance. You're using borrowed money. Listen to me, folks. Borrowed money is not your money. You have to pay it back. You don't get to just keep it and ignore it. And when you don't, here comes the creditors. Now it's on your credit report. They're going to take the property and they're going to come after you personally for the debt because you guaranteed the debt. Dumb mistake. Don't do it. We buy houses with owner financing and taking them over subject to, and sometimes on lease purchase. We're not guaranteeing the debt. It's non-recourse debt. Therefore, if the values come down, the tenant may not buy and they may not move, but they will forfeit that big old deposit that you've already received and made a ton of money off of, plus the monthly cash flow. At that point, you adjust. If the price comes down and the property is not sold, it's the seller, it's the one on the mortgage that's got the problem, not you. Therefore, if there's a bunch of equity in that property, we're going to renegotiate because the seller has no choice. All right. It's their name on the debt, not yours. So they're going to come down on that price. And if they don't, then they can take the house back. And those are the two choices they have. So if you let me, I'll try to teach you how to protect yourself against another recession. Another recession is the best thing that could happen to us. I mean, I keep telling everybody that. It makes everybody in the business more motivated. All the sellers, all the buyers, harder to get loans, can't qualify. That's getting worse. And here you are in the middle offering lease options and getting great big deposits, and credit is totally a non-issue. That group of people is going to grow and grow and grow and grow. The people who cannot qualify for a loan. And here you are in the middle of the gatekeeper. remember this, I don't care how much the price goes down. There's always somebody that's going to need to rent that house. Rents go up when a recession happens. They don't go down. And the need for prices, which is why they go up. So you're in a very good position. You have no personal guarantee. There's nothing, anything anybody can do to you. And if the seller really wants to get that nasty, I don't know why they would anyway. Because honestly, you're making a monthly payment. You're either going to have a tenant buyer in there, or you're going to put another tenant buyer in there. There's no reason for the seller to actually squawk. Now, if they're at a term, for example, you gave them a balloon, they got no choice but to extend that balloon. They have no choice. All right. And if they're really getting nasty, you can give them the house back. You already made a ton of money on it. That'd be their decision, not your decision. Wealth without risk. Yes, it is possible. Come see the old guy as soon as you possibly can. Trust me, what you're going to get out of his head, you're not going to get out of anybody else's head. And by the way, this burr thing I see going on, I need to take a pill when I see somebody on YouTube or TikTok preaching burr. That's BRRRRRRRRR, whatever. Buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. What a load of crap that is. In fact, I want us to do an event. I want us to do a short segment on why I do not like burr and why you better not get caught up in the burr trap. And then we'll put it out to all of our listeners. All right.
That'd be a good one.
Okay. Got any more questions?
No, that was it. That was the last one.
All right. I got off on a rampant there. You didn't stop me.
No, it was good stuff. Why was I going to stop you?
I got it off my chest anyway. All right. So guys, better get into quick start school now. I'm telling you, if you want to get in this business, you're not going to get in it until you come to the quick start school. You'll meet a lot of other people that'll testify to that. They're always there. You get to come back for free for a year. And I got a virtual one coming up in a couple of weeks, but I really want you in the live one in Orlando in July, because that's where you're going to get the biggest bang for the buck. So even if you come to the virtual, make sure you get into the live in Orlando. We have mentors. So if you're ready to get going and you're ready to take advantage of the rest of this year and the rest of your life, get a hold of my office and get the information that you need, and let's get you in there. Don't let money stop you. All right, we'll finance you. So just get it on your agenda and do it quickly. All right. Well, I got nothing else to say today. So I'll see you guys in a week.